This month, we're going to talk about living intentionally. And this is something I've been thinking a lot about because I normally am not a fan of living intentionally. In fact, things just kind of happen to me and I just roll with it. And a long time ago, my wife started asking me, well, does that match up with your values? Like, is that what you want to do? And I'm like, wait, what? I get invited to this thing and she's like, well, do you want to go? And I'm like, it's a thing. I got invited. Of course I'm going to go. And she's like, well, do you want to go? And I'm like, I just don't think like that. Like, that's never been my thing. Well, since then, she's worked with me a lot on establishing my values, living by my values, and living intentionally and doing things the way they should be done. So I want to share a few things with you on that and maybe steer you in that direction of, am I living intentionally? And if not, how do I get there? So companies do this all the time, right? Companies will establish core values. Like, this is what we value and we're going to flow everything through this. And some companies, they paint something on a wall, but nobody actually lives by that. But some companies really intentionally do it. And I've been doing these unboxing videos because people just keep sending me stuff. And so I keep unboxing it and it's been a blast. But I got this really cool one from some friends up in Alaska at First Rate Financial. And my friends in Alaska sent me all of this swag, and it was like Yeti stuff. And you could go back and watch that video. It's a pretty good one. But all this swag, and all the swag said firm, PHERM. And as I'm looking at it, I'm like, there's your logo, but really bigger and more attractive than your logo is this PHERM thing. And so I'm like, what? And I get to the bottom of the box and there's this flyer that says PHERM, our values, and it explains their values. And I pulled them up. So I want to read them to you just because it was so important to them to communicate, like, this is how we roll. And so I'll tell you what they are. This is personal and professional growth is the P, honesty, integrity is the H, exceptional service is the E, the R is remarkable relationships, and the M is magnetic culture. And I know these guys, and I definitely have felt these things. And so they live by this culture, right? They've decided everything must flow through these values. And the key thing is, if you have one of these at your company, you have to keep going back to it. Like, criteria for decision-making should be, does this meet our core values? At the Knowledge Coop, we have core values and we take them very seriously. In fact, in our reviews, we look at the core values and use those to review the performance of employees. So ours is called PACE, which is play, accountability, communication, and excellence. Play, like, are you having fun? Like, I don't want to be in a company that isn't fun to work at. Like, are you enjoying your time? Do we connect with each other? Accountability, like, are we holding each other accountable for outcomes? Like, do we hold ourselves accountable for the outcomes? Communication, do we constantly communicate? And excellence, is this excellent? So that's a criteria we've set up for the values of our company. Like, are we doing it in an excellent way? Are we having fun doing it? Like, we've had to establish that so we know what we should and shouldn't do. In our content we create, we have values that are, it has to be educational, like deeply researched, and it has to be entertaining. And so having that makes us go, okay, if we're going to do something, it must meet this criteria. So first off, as a company, does your company have those values set up, and do you go back and look at those? And so my first challenge of the day is go back and look at your company values. Share those values with us. Like, I want you to brag about your values. So let us know, what are those values that you live by? And then I also want you to look at it and go, if these are values that my company's stated, but we're not living by them, how do I get that, up the ladder? I don't know how big your company is, but do you have access to the upper level of the company so you can bring that to them and say, hey, you guys sat down and established these. We're not living by them. Like, hold that company accountable to live by those values, because otherwise they're useless. So the first thing, set your values as a company. Now, I want to talk about your values as a human. So there's just certain things I'm in this for, right? Why I got into the business, what I want to do with my career. And so I've always had to go back and look at, is this, for me personally, I want to live an adventure. Am I living an adventure? Am I doing those things that I value? And so I really focus on, how do I make sure that I'm living the way that I want to live. A couple years ago, I was struggling with my ADHD, and it just wasn't me. It was me and everybody around me. With ADHD, you have some superpowers, some things that make you more awesome than anybody else. And you also have some serious, hurdles to overcome. And sometimes those hurdles can wear on other people. And so I saw myself wearing on other people, and I was like, I need to go get a coach to help me be a better version of myself and help me tackle this ADHD. And so I found a coach that specialized in ADHD, and I met with her a number of times to try and get myself dialed in. And one of the things that we worked on, and this is the second thing I want you guys to be challenged by, is we worked on, what's my owner's manual? So she's like, okay, when are you living your best life? Like, when are you the happiest? When are you the most productive? When are you the most operating at the highest level? And I'm like, what do you mean when? And she's like, what things are in place that cause that? So she taught me to think about this like a car, right? If you're driving your car and you never change the oil, then that car's not going to last very long, right? That thing's going to start breaking down. If you never rotate the tires, which by the way, I'm guessing most of us don't rotate our tires, but hopefully you're doing that. But you have to take the time to do that. There's things that you need to do, but when you do those things, your car's going to last forever. And those same things exist as a human. There's things that you do that when you're doing them, like people recognize it. Like they're like, wow, you're really doing well. Well, it's because I'm doing those right things. So she starts challenging me to come up with my right things, and we made an owner's manual. And the funniest thing about it is, ever since I made this owner's manual, like I can go back to it when I'm feeling bad and be like, oh, well, I'm not doing number 1. I'm not doing number 6. I'm not doing number 7. Like I can actually see there is a recipe for success, and it's in writing in my phone, and I can always bounce off it. So let me just give you a few things from my owner's manual just to get you started, because what I want you all to do this month is write an owner's manual for yourself if you don't have one already. First thing, now here's the hard part. My first thing was running. So when we were doing this, I was still a runner because I still had good knees. Since then, I've torn my meniscus in 3 ways and I can't run anymore. So running was part of my, like when I'm running, I just do great. Well, I had to adjust my owner's manual because I can't run anymore, but I left running on there for a while and it was like, well, why even have it on there if you can't do it? So I've adjusted that to working out. When I'm working out, I'm my best. Journaling, so taking notes, like writing at the end of the day, this is how the day went. These are the things I'm concerned about. For me, journaling is so key because a lot of stuff gets stuck up here. And what happens is as I write, I start realizing that maybe the thing I was stressed about isn't as stressful, or I'm stressed about the wrong thing. And as I'm journaling, I'm like, oh my gosh, why am I even worried about this? Actually, this doesn't even matter. Like, but I don't get that unless I start writing. So if I'm ever doing like not so good and you came up to me and said, are you journaling? Probably not. Because if I was journaling, you would see it. Again, these things represent, like they show themselves. A couple other things, I have to listen to the right music. Sometimes I can listen to the wrong music and it just puts me in a bad space. Music is life for me. Like music is everything. I love every type of music, but music will put me in a different mood, and I've got to make sure that I start my day with the right music. Meditation, so taking 10 minutes. I have a mat that I meditate on. Thank you, Dave Savage, for introducing me to the acupressure mat. It's basically a bunch of spikes you lay on, and you do nothing but let yourself drift. And at first it's super painful, and then gradually it becomes then just warm, and then like I've fallen asleep on this mat. So getting my time, closing everything in the world off and just closing my eyes and giving myself time to just be, huge part of it. Now this list goes on and on. I'm not going to go through everything on my owner's manual, but the key thing you need to know is to live intentionally, you have to know like, what are those things that will get me my best outcome? And then what you've got to do is just write them down and then give them to somebody else. So you need somebody in your life that says, how are you doing with your owner's manual? I have a therapist. She's amazing. And she'll do it every now and again. And I hate when she does it because I know she's right. She'll be like, Ken, you seem super stressed. You got a lot going on. And I travel a ton. And she's like, you got a lot of travel going on. How are you with your owner's manual? And I know as she's leading up to that question, like she's going to call me out because she knows. Because it's so obvious when I'm not living according to my owner's manual and I start breaking down, it becomes really obvious. So I hate it when she asks me, but I'm like, I hate it because you're right. Like it's so true. I need to get back to that. So write your owner's manual and then give your owner's manual to somebody you trust to not just let you get away with failing your owner's manual and go, hey, I need you to call me out on this. And then the other thing is go back to it and keep changing it. So if you wrote something in there that you're just not doing, then you go back to it and go, is that important? Like I wrote it for a reason. Why am I not doing it? And maybe it doesn't need to be there. And maybe there's another thing that does, right? When I can't be a runner anymore, now I just golf all the time. And when I golf, I walk the golf course. Like you will not find me at Orchard Hills where I golf. You will not find me in a golf cart because I'm walking the whole time. Because for me, that's the exercise I've picked up, right? So have those things, continue to do them. And if something changes, change the owner's manual because that's got to be a legitimate working document. Have your owner's manual, live by it. Now I want you to share anything you want, like anything that's helping you, wherever you're watching this. if there's a way for you to document your notes on this, just tell me like what's working for you. Do you live by the owner's manual? Let's start a conversation about this, because the ultimate goal for me is that you guys all get to experience this thing that I've been experiencing, where like I'm living a good life because I've established my values. I've established what things make me the best version of myself. So I want you to do that. And then remember that core value piece. Don't just make it for yourself, but check like, how does my company run best? For those of you founders and executives out there, like what do I do that makes me the best version of myself here at the office? And I do not believe that you can be a version of yourself at the office that you are not at home, or that you can be a version at home that you are not at the office. You are one human. And those things that you'll write down in your owner's manual are those things that make you amazing in every environment you walk into. That's my challenge for this month. On the very next episode of Lessons from Last Time, you're going to see me having a conversation with Dave Savage about his code. Similar line of thinking. He's on the same vibe I am right now, is like, what makes me the best version of myself? So you get to see Dave Savage talk about how he did it, how he built this company. That is an awesome episode that you're going to love. Until then, I will see you in the coop or on the next episode of Lessons from Last Time.